Hello, all you hellions. Welcome or welcome back. I just want to let it be known right off the bat that I have a bit of the sniffles, so sorry. So for this week's video, I'm only going to talk about 2 movies and a short. I wanted to spend more time on next week's video, which covers my favorite Christmas horror. That being said, I chose 2 random movies that I hadn't seen before, also the short I haven't seen before, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, broaden my horror horizons. So, let's get into it. The first movie I watched was Elves, 2018. Ancient elves are uncovered and wreak havoc on all they come across. We see how twisted it is with the tragic scene featuring brothers. The CGI is a little campy, reminds me of a feature you can use on your phone, but it was effective enough. Now let's cut to the main characters. A group of friends meet up at an abandoned building to have a little fun. One of them wants to play a game, the naughty list. As an elf watches on, they all write their names on the naughty list, and then they write the naughtiest thing they have ever done. The party disperses, and soon enough they start dying off. The elf makes them do whatever it was that they wrote on the list. This part I actually thought was pretty cool. And everyone around them take on the look of the elf via the phone filter feature I mentioned earlier. They then start adding side notes, almost as though they thought it up halfway through filming. We have Christmas bulbs appearing right before someone dies, the holiday reaper is kicking around, and there's some random goth chick killing people. I don't know. I mean, this movie was all over the place. It felt as though they tried to take 3 plots and cram them into one. I think I may have actually liked it if they would have chosen a plot and stuck with it. As it is, I had no enjoyment upon viewing. One coffin. The second movie is 13 Sleighs Till Christmas, 2024. A Christmas horror anthology. Show me a horror anthology and I'll watch it. The opening story is a man who tragically lost his wife and he's having to raise his children on his own. For some reason, he doesn't want his children to fall asleep until Christmas at midnight when all the magic is over. The stars for the wraparound story are a high school teacher, a pediatrician, a cop, a priest, and a mall Santa, all people that kids should be able to trust. They were brought here by a mysterious email, and there is an underlining tension in all of them. To pass the time, they're all sitting around in a bar telling true horror Christmas stories with the bartender watching on. This immediately had me thinking this is the perfect start of a joke, and that was solidified toward the end of the movie. The first to tell a story is the priest. It's the story of 2 sisters, Sam and Danny, who lost their mother. Danny is trying to convince Sam to have one last Christmas party in the house where their mother lived. Sam arrives, and Danny convinces her to go down into the basement to look for decorations. Not a bad first story. Up next is the cop. He tells 2 stories. The first is about a band that whittled down to 2 men who give each other some interesting gifts. His second story is about a man named Charlie that was moments from ending it all. That is, until a strange man arrives who claims to have been sent from a higher power to help. He is going to show Charlie his past, present, and future. Seeing as A Christmas Carol is my all-time favorite tale, I was excited for this one. Our third storyteller is Santa. He tells a story about 2 men that break into a mall Santa's house on Christmas Eve and find themselves fighting for their lives against a very unusual adversary. Santa's last story is about Kringles the Christmas Clown. I loved the look of this clown. Well done, guys. He is Santa's #1 helper. He travels out in front of the sleigh looking for last-minute naughty kids. For those who are naughty, Kringles kills their parents and brings the kids to Santa's workshop to make the toys they will never receive. Next up is the high school teacher. He tells a story of 2 siblings. The oldest tells the youngest about Santa's twin brother who was banished to hell. If you play a Christmas song backwards, he will be released from hell and kill all the naughty kids. The school teacher's second story is the story of a cursed doll. Give me a horror doll any day. A woman has been plagued by this doll since childhood, and her girlfriend just found it in the attic. After listening to all these stories, the bartender decides to get in on it. Go, girl. She tells of the killing spree called Christmas Dismember, where a man slaughtered 23 people and what happens after his incarceration.
Ho, ho, holy fuck!
She then tells my favorite of all the stories. A longtime DJ for a radio station is being replaced by a younger model and is not at all happy about it. This story is not the most standout. That's not why I love it. It's because of the DJ. That actor did an amazing job with this character. I find him hilarious.
Bust ass and bust nuts! Alright, that was a shitty threat, but you get the idea. I'm tired and I'm pissed. That's a deadly combination.
Up next, the pediatrician. He tells the story of a Christmas get-together that get a visit from the keeper of the bells, where all shall pay for their sins. And the tale of an old man whose job it is to take care of the bad apple caribou who have a run-in with two men that are hunting caribou on Christmas Eve, even though that's considered bad luck. These two stories were my least favorites, but they were okay. And now, a seemingly random woman comes into the bar to tell the last story that reveals a very dark secret and the reason for the gathering. All right, guys, there were a ton of Easter eggs in this movie that represent a lot of your hard-hitting horror movies, so let's get into that. In the opening credits, a female news reporter is holding a microphone that has a station flag with a sentinel from Phantasm. In the opening intro, Jester from the Puppet Master can be seen dressed as an elf. In the Scarionette, the yard sign, it says, "It's the thing to do," nod to John Carpenter's The Thing. Also in Scarionette, the officer, his badge says J. Voorhees. In the Dead Air sequence, the radio station is called the Fulci Bava Radio Group Media Center. This is for the Italian horror filmmakers Lucio Fulci and Mario Bava. The DJ is drinking Craven's Cold Brew, a nod to Wes Craven. Also, the DJ's name is Dean Castle, named after cinematographer Dean Cundley and original Michael Myers actor Nick Castle. For the wraparound story, the old television on the bar and the bottle of Hot Carl's Frisky Whiskey are both props from 2015 Volumes of Blood. The alcoholic drinks in the wraparound story have labels related to other horror movies. Dawn of the Red, which is for Dawn of the Dead, Regent Light, Reanimator, and Bates Brew from Psycho. You really get a feel for Christmas with this one. Although not all the stories were great, like with all anthologies, you will like at least one. 2.5 coffins. Fuck it. 3 coffins. I liked all the Easter eggs. Vincent is just snoring away. He is a tired boy. We've had quite the busy day, so now he's resting. Now for the short, titled The 12 Sleighs of Christmas, 2023. I bet you can guess why I chose this one. 3 women on their way to a Christmas carnival out in the middle of nowhere experience car trouble and get stranded. They find a house called Full Moon Manor, clever considering this is a full moon production, and let themselves in. They find a table full of food and a tree surrounded by presents. They then meet Ignatius Harrington, the master of the manor, who invite them to partake in food, drink, and presents. Ignatius has the women open presents. With each figurine comes a story, or a sleigh. Each figure comes from a full moon production, and the sleigh is a kill scene from their respective movies. Most are dolls, and like I said before, I love killer dolls. The first sleigh is Jack in the Box from Demonic Toys. Second, the Ginger Dead Man from The Ginger Dead Man. Third, the 6-shooter from Puppet Master 3. Fourth is Totem, the Wiccan warrior from Totem. Fifth, the Tunneler from Puppet Master. 6th, The Torch, also from the Puppet Master. 7th, Baby Oopsie from Demonic Toys. 8th, The Leech Woman from Puppet Master. 9th, The Evil Bong from Evil Bong. 10th is The Blade from Puppet Master. The 11th really threw me off. We have The Vampire Radu from Subspecies. Doesn't really fit in with the other sleighs, but whatever, it wasn't bad. And for the 12th sleigh, a nice little twist. All in all, a fun 41-minute watch. A clever way to give reminder, perhaps to new horror fans, that these gems exist. 2.5 coffins. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe, why don't you? And we'll see you next week for my favorite Christmas horror.